Well, I'm Jeff Wilbarger. I'm the founder and director of the Daughter Project. I've always lived in Northwest Ohio. I grew up in a little place called Reno Beach, Ohio. Attended Clay High School, went to the University of Toledo, graduated from there with a degree in education. I've been teaching students mathematics for the last 30 years. I love teaching. My wife and I have been married for 30 years. We have several adult children now, and I have 3 wonderful granddaughters, and I love spending time with them too. As far as the Daughter Project, that was something I got involved with because of my son-in-law. He gave me a book about trafficking, and I started reading these real-life stories of trafficking. And I naively thought trafficking was something that took place in India and Thailand, which it does, but it also happens here in our own community. I had no idea. And this was about 8 years ago. I felt this sense of calling and sense of responsibility to do something to help these young girls. I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll volunteer at a shelter and help the girls with their education, because that's what I've been doing for 30 years. The problem is I couldn't find one in Toledo or any place in Ohio or any place in Michigan or Indiana. We have over 100,000 children in the U.S. alone that are being trafficked today. When we got started, there were only about 6 homes in the entire country. And of course, you don't have to be a math major to know that 6 homes for 100,000 children just isn't enough. We just went to these builders and said, this is what we want to do. And the amazing thing is we never asked any of them to donate anything. We just asked them to do whatever they could. We found a guy named Jim Moline from Moline Builders, a well-known, respected builder here in Toledo. I just asked him for some advice, how to get started. And he just became our general contractor. He just took over the entire build. When we first got started with the construction, we only had about $50,000 in the bank, and then some land was donated to us, and so we got started. And I remember Jim said to me, he goes, well, you can't build a house for $50,000, but he said, you got to get started, because once you get started, there are going to be some contractors that once they see progress, they'll volunteer and jump in, but you got to get something started. So it was amazing. So that, and within that year's time, the whole home was built. We built our home in Wood County. It's the first licensed recovery home for adolescent survivors of sex trafficking in the state of Ohio. It's exciting to say that, and I'm glad to be able to say that that's what we've done. But it's also sad to say that we're the first one, because there's such a great need. I mean, as a country, we are far behind the curve on addressing this issue, both stopping trafficking, but also in helping the survivors. As much as anything, they need good, healthy, loving relationships. Almost all the adults in their lives have either neglected or abused them. And so that's why we have our house mom staff. They live in the home with the girls 24 hours a day. And so they start to see there are adults out there who really aren't interested in treating them or abusing them as others have been. We're there loving them and caring for them.